Let's tie a red ass today. This is a wet fly that builds on what you learned tying a nymph. Here are the ingredients, fairly straightforward. The big difference between the nymph is this has a longer straight hook and it has hackle. Like always, we tie the base on. I'll wrap the thread around the base, wrap the tag around the thread, continue wrapping flat toward the back to nearly the curve or the point. Next we take a bunch, I'd say about 5 partridge feathers that are about 1/2 inch long, and these are brown and gray, and tie them on top to the back of the fly. Lay about a 4-inch piece of your red wire, fine wire, on top of the fly at the back, just above the feather, and tie it on. Use as little thread as possible. Then, wrapping in the same direction as your thread, your red wire, close, each loop needs to be close to the other. Try to have no gaps so the black will show up. Although if it does show up, it's not a bad thing. I don't think the fish cares. We'll wrap it all the way, or almost to the head, all the way up. Get it to the end, wrap your thread around just behind the tag to tie it down. Okay, clip your tag on your red wire and then pinch it down. Continue wrapping your thread away from you in the same direction behind the head. Give it about 5 or 6 loops. Now lay about a 4-inch piece of peacock herl on top of the fly. Do about 4 or 5 more loops on it. You'll end up tying about 1/8 of an inch of herl on. So start wrapping your peacock herl around tightly until you get to the back of the head. And then take your thread, wrap it over the tag, and then continue some loops behind the head to secure it. Then trim your tag tight without cutting your thread. Cut the right side of the feather, the partridge feather, off. Lay the base at the top of the fly behind the head at an angle. Now wrap your thread around and on each side going in the same direction. Gently grab the tip of your partridge feather, and you'll fluff the feathers out a little bit, pull them out a little bit first, and then at the same time wrap your thread with the feather. And while you're doing that, you'll have to pull the feathers out. This is going to take some practice. This is a gentle process, and you're kind of doing multiple things at the same time. Wrap your thread around, again, behind the head to continue securing the feather. Pull the feathers back, wrap about 10 more loops or 5 more loops behind the head to further secure the feather. Now this hackle is a little too long, so what I'm doing is trimming the tips back to where the hackle is about as long as the body of the fly, or 3/4 of the inch of the fly. We'll continue fluffing the feathers out, trying to get them to look evenly dispersed. Put a drop of UV epoxy around the head to help secure the feather. Put your UV light on there to harden it. Put a drop of UV epoxy on the body as well. Now I left a little drop on it. I should have wiped that off. And like before, put your light around it to harden it, about 10 or 12 seconds, and that should do it. So there you go, that's how you tie a red ass.